Good morning. I think it's still morning. I don't know. I had a really early flight yesterday and then I didn't turn off my alarm. So it went off at 3 a.m. last night. So I don't know what time it is. I've already done an ice bath. And I'm planning to do my newsletter today. So part of my newsletter is these short videos for you. And I had the intention, which we can talk about that word in a moment. I had the intention of making a video when I was in Michigan, just because I was there for 2 weeks, so I can't believe I haven't made a video. But also, as it becomes more that my life is in this, I don't want to call it a purgatory because that sounds negative, but this limbo, this in-between of where do I call home? I keep referring to everywhere as home. When I'm coming back to Mexico, I'm going home. When I'm going to see mi gatita, I'm going home. So I did want to make a video there, and I said I would do it at Barefoot and Free, and then I didn't stop long enough, and then I thought I would do it the day I had ice baths, and I didn't do it then, but I'm doing it now. So I only get less than 10 minutes, and that was 1 minute of me telling you about whether or not I was going to do a video. So I hope you're still here. What I was thinking about this morning, and that's usually what I just come here and share, sometimes exercises, sometimes what I'm thinking about, and it was the importance and the power of where we put our focus and how we observe our own focus, like being that observer. That's one of those yoga tenets, that yoga philosophy, where instead of having ourselves in, we pull ourselves out so that we can see it from a different perspective. But when you talk about focus, like, what are you listening to? What are you talking about with other people? What are your thoughts that you are allowing on repeat in your head? And a conversation with a very good friend of mine is what had me thinking about this morning, because what we focus on tends to expand, it tends to grow, and sometimes we're growing things that we are not meaning to grow, and then we wonder why they grew, and it's because we spent so much time focusing on it. And that can come in the form of worry. So not all focus is positive. We think of focus like focus on a task, but not all focus is positive. So how much energy, think of it as how much energy you are giving something. And so the conversation with a friend had to do with focusing on one area, and we'll just say the relationship area of life. And when we tend to focus on one thing, everything else gets blurry. Just because I was just using it, do you have the food mode on your phone where just the thing in the frame is focused and everything else is there, but it's blurry, it's not easy to see. You may know there's an object, but you don't even know what that object in the frame is. So we either have to zoom out or clear our focus or switch our focus. If what we're focusing on is what we don't want, or we can even want it. I'm trying to be very careful with that because we could still want it, but we don't want it to engulf our entire existence. We don't want it to take over our whole day. We don't want it to be the thing that interrupts our ability to do other things or complete tasks. So when I think of it in my life, and it was when I still do read, but before audiobooks, when I used to read actual physical books a lot, it seemed whatever book I was reading would be the thing that I felt like excited about or drawn to or want to do. So for those of you listening to Only Murder Mystery Podcasts, please stop. Put something positive in your day at any point. I'm not saying you have to stop listening to them altogether, but insert something else. Your vibration is counting on it. We are all counting on it. So add a little light and love to your day. But I used to notice if I wanted to clean, like really deep clean, I would go to the library. Yes, back when I would go to the library to get physical books. And I would get a book on decluttering, or the joy, what was that book? The joy of, I don't know, the joy of decluttering, something like that. But I would get a book on the thing I wanted to focus on. If I wanted to focus on my well-being, when I was going through my divorce, I read books like Broken Open, which really was a life-changing book, just in case that one hits you. Maybe that's why that came up. That was a long time ago. But I would read books that were the thing I wanted to put my attention to, the thing that I knew would help pull me towards or out of wherever I was. So if I know today that I want to be really focused and intentional on like a task in my job that is financial, then I turn on a business podcast. If I know that I want to write your newsletter today and do this, I put on something a little more heart-centered. So being really picky and choosy, remembering that it's not just the media, so I'm not just saying podcast, maybe you don't even listen to podcasts, the music you're listening to. Ironic, wasn't going to say this, but here it is. In all of my newsletters, there is a playlist, and I make sure those playlists are things that will lift you up and make your heart feel good. And know that sometimes things that make us feel good, things that make us feel emotion, it doesn't always feel positive. Like when things bring us to tears, we may worry that something's wrong. But I promise you, feeling is our superpower. Having feelings, having emotions, they are your superpowers. They are your guides. They are your goalposts. They are your bumpers. They are all of the things that are meant to lead you in the direction that you're intended to go. So instead of numbing them, turning them off, thinking there's something wrong with you when you have them, allow those feelings to be present, to be seen, and see what happens there. Okay, but back to focus. See, I'm terrible at focus. We joked in Peru, here it goes again. Don't let me detour, because when I detour, I don't come back. And if I want to come back, sometimes I'm like, I don't know where that main road is. Where was I? I can't find myself back from the detour. So today, my goal to you is to intentionally pick something you want to focus on, something that makes you feel something good, something positive, that lifts your spirits, that vibrates you at a higher level, that makes you smile, that puts a sparkle in your eyes. There's nothing, I promise you, there is nothing better than not needing to find happiness when you wake up, that you just wake up and you feel happy. And that doesn't mean life is perfect, because I don't think life is ever going to be perfect. And if that's the day we're waiting for, we're going to keep on waiting. Life is never going to be perfect. That was never life's intention. It was never life's promise to you. My dad used to say, life is not fair. And that's true. But you can still find your peace. You can still find your happy. And I'm going to leave it at that. We've got 8 minutes. I hope you stayed for all 8. And watch for the newsletter. My commitment, unlike making these videos, I will get it out today. Okay. Gracias.